What if the key to understanding life and connecting with others isn't about pushing yourself to the limit but about finding peace within your comfort zone? We live in a world that constantly tells us to hustle, to grind, and to step outside our comfort zones to grow. But what if the real path to growth, and even the purpose of life itself, isn't about seeking discomfort, but about diving deep into the center of who we are? Many ancient philosophies, from Buddhism to Stoicism, teach us that the purpose of life is to cultivate empathy, not by changing the world around us, but by transforming ourselves from within. And here's the twist: to truly understand others, we first need to understand ourselves. That means getting comfortable with being in our comfort zones, not always running from them. In this video, we'll explore why empathy starts with self-awareness, challenge the modern obsession with discomfort, and discover how finding your center can lead to a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. Let's dive in. When we talk about the purpose of life, many ancient philosophies point to one central idea: empathy. Not just as a nice-to-have trait, but as the very foundation of a meaningful existence. Let's start with Buddhism, a tradition that has deeply explored the nature of compassion. In Buddhism, the concept of karuna, or compassion, is central to the path of enlightenment. The Buddha taught that all beings are interconnected, and true wisdom comes from understanding this interconnectedness. By cultivating compassion for ourselves, we naturally extend it to others. This isn't about grand gestures or changing the world, it's about an internal shift. As the Buddha said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This self-compassion is the seed from which empathy grows. Next, let's turn to Stoicism, a philosophy that might seem surprising in a discussion about empathy. At its core, Stoicism is about focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, rather than external circumstances. The Stoics believe that by mastering our inner world, we become better equipped to understand and connect with others. The ancient maxim "Know thyself" was embraced by Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, who wrote extensively about the importance of self-awareness. In his Meditations, he reminds us that true strength lies in understanding our own emotions, which in turn allows us to empathize with the struggles of others. Then there's Taoism, a philosophy that emphasizes living in harmony with the natural flow of life. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or effortless action, teaches us to stop forcing change and instead embrace our natural state. Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, wrote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." This idea of letting go, of societal expectations, of the need to constantly push ourselves, allows us to return to our true selves. And it's only when we're in touch with our authentic selves that we can genuinely connect with others. What these philosophies share is a focus on internal transformation. They don't ask us to change the world first, they ask us to change ourselves. And at the heart of this transformation is empathy, not as an abstract ideal, but as a natural outcome of self-awareness and self-compassion. So, if the purpose of life is to become more empathetic, as these traditions suggest, then the journey begins within. It's not about constantly seeking discomfort or external validation. It's about finding peace within ourselves so that we can extend that peace to others. And that's where the real magic happens. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to get out of our comfort zones. Whether it's hustle culture, productivity gurus, or self-help books, the narrative is clear: growth only happens when we're uncomfortable. But what if this obsession with discomfort is actually holding us back from true growth? Let's start by unpacking the rise of hustle culture. It's everywhere: social media, corporate slogans, even casual conversations. The idea is that if you're not pushing yourself to the limit, you're not living up to your potential. But here's the problem: this mindset often leads to burnout, anxiety, and a disconnection from our true selves. When we're always chasing the next big challenge, we rarely take the time to reflect on who we are and what we truly want. This brings us to a critical question: what does growth really mean? Modern culture often equates growth with external achievements, getting a promotion, running a marathon, or building a side hustle. But is that all there is to it? Psychologists like Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow would argue otherwise. They emphasize that true growth is about self-actualization, becoming the most authentic version of yourself. And that doesn't always require discomfort. In fact, it often requires the opposite: creating a safe, nurturing space where you can explore your emotions, values, and desires. Another issue with the discomfort narrative is that it can lead to an over-identification with struggle. When we're constantly seeking challenges, we risk defining ourselves by our hardships. This can create a cycle where we feel like we're never enough unless we're overcoming something. But as Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability, points out, True connection and empathy come from embracing our imperfections, not from glorifying our struggles. So, what's the alternative? Instead of constantly pushing ourselves into uncomfortable situations, what if we focused on deepening our self-awareness and emotional intelligence? Studies show that self-compassion and mindfulness are key to resilience and well-being. By turning inward and understanding ourselves, we create a solid foundation for growth, one that doesn't rely on external validation or constant discomfort. In the next section, we'll explore how finding the center of your comfort zone can be the key to true self-discovery and, ultimately, empathy. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply be with yourself. When we hear the phrase comfort zone, it often carries a negative connotation, a place of stagnation, laziness, or missed opportunities. But what if the center of your comfort zone is actually where the magic happens? What if it's the very place where true self-discovery begins? Let's start by redefining the center of the comfort zone. This isn't about staying in a bubble of familiarity or avoiding challenges altogether. Instead, it's about creating a safe, nurturing space where you can explore your emotions, values, and desires without judgment or pressure. Think of it like the roots of a tree. To grow tall and strong, a tree needs deep, stable roots. Similarly, to grow as individuals, we need a solid foundation of self-awareness and self-compassion. One of the most powerful ways to connect with the center of your comfort zone is through stillness and reflection. Practices like meditation, journaling, and mindfulness allow us to slow down and tune into our inner world. In Buddhism, mindfulness is a cornerstone of self-discovery. By observing our thoughts and emotions without attachment, we gain insight into who we truly are. Similarly, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius practice daily reflection to understand their emotions and align their actions with their values. Another key aspect of finding your center is embracing your authentic self. This means letting go of societal expectations and external pressures to simply be who you are. Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, captured this beautifully when he said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." In other words, true growth comes from accepting and nurturing your natural state, not from forcing yourself into a mold that doesn't fit. But why is this so important? Because when we're in touch with our authentic selves, we're better equipped to navigate life's challenges. We're more resilient, more grounded, and more capable of making decisions that align with our true values. And perhaps most importantly, we're more open to connecting with others on a deeper level. Consider the story of someone like Gandhi, who spent years in self-reflection and meditation before leading India to independence. His journey of self-discovery wasn't about seeking discomfort or external validation, it was about finding his center and living in alignment with his values. And it was this deep self-awareness that allowed him to empathize with others and lead with compassion. So, how can you find your center? Start by carving out time for stillness and reflection. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts, give yourself permission to just be. As you do, you'll begin to uncover the layers of who you truly are, and that's where the real growth happens. In the next section, we'll explore how this self-awareness naturally leads to empathy, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves. Empathy is often described as the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. But here's the thing, you can't truly understand someone else's emotions if you haven't first understood your own. This is where self-awareness comes in. It's the bridge that connects us to others, allowing us to empathize in a way that's genuine and meaningful. Let's start with the connection between self-awareness and empathy. When we take the time to explore our own emotions, whether it's joy, sadness, fear, or anger, we develop a deeper understanding of the human experience. This emotional literacy is the foundation of empathy. As psychologist Daniel Goleman, a pioneer in emotional intelligence research explains, self-awareness is the keystone of emotional intelligence. Without it, empathy and other emotional skills are impossible. But self-awareness doesn't just help us recognize emotions, it also helps us navigate them. When we're in touch with our own vulnerabilities, we're better equipped to hold space for others in theirs. Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability, puts it this way: empathy is about finding echoes of another person in yourself. In other words, when we've faced our own struggles and embraced our imperfections, we're more likely to respond to others with compassion rather than judgment. So, how do we cultivate this kind of self-awareness? Here are a few practical steps. 1. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation, rooted in Buddhist traditions, teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. This practice helps us become more attuned to our inner world, making it easier to connect with others. 2. Journal regularly. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius used journaling as a tool for self-reflection. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you process emotions and gain clarity about who you are. 3. Engage in reflective conversations. Talk openly with trusted friends or mentors about your experiences and emotions. These conversations can provide new perspectives and deepen your self-understanding. 4. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend. Self-compassion breaks down the barriers to empathy by helping us accept our own humanity. When we prioritize self-awareness, something remarkable happens. Empathy becomes a natural extension of who we are. Take, for example, the story of someone who transformed their relationships by first understanding themselves. Imagine a recovering workaholic who, after years of burnout, finally took the time to explore their emotions and values. As they became more self-aware, they began to connect with their family on a deeper level, offering empathy and understanding instead of frustration and distance. In the end, empathy isn't just about understanding others, it's about understanding ourselves. And when we do that, we create a ripple effect of compassion that extends far beyond our own lives. In the conclusion, we'll tie all of this together and explore how embracing your comfort zone can lead to a more empathetic, fulfilling life. So, what have we learned? The purpose of life, as taught by ancient philosophies like Buddhism, Stoicism, and Taoism, isn't about changing the world, it's about changing ourselves. And at the heart of this transformation is empathy, which begins with self-awareness. We've challenged the modern obsession with discomfort, arguing that true growth comes from understanding and embracing who we are, not from constantly pushing ourselves to the limits. By finding the center of our comfort zones, through practices like mindfulness, journaling, and self-compassion, we create a foundation for authentic self-discovery. And it's only when we truly know ourselves that we can extend genuine empathy to others. So, here's my challenge to you. Give yourself permission to slow down, to reflect, and to simply be. Explore your emotions, embrace your vulnerabilities, and nurture your authentic self. Because when you do, you'll not only find clarity and peace within yourself, you'll also become a source of compassion and connection for the world around you. As we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question. What might you discover about yourself, and others, if you gave yourself permission to simply be? If this video resonated with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And remember to check the links in the description for resources and tools to help you on your path. Let's keep the conversation going. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts on comfort zones, self-awareness, or empathy. Until next time, take care of yourself, embrace your comfort zone, and remember, the journey to empathy begins within. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.